Today, I'll be showing you the best early game money making methods in Hypixel Skyblock. I'll test each method for 15 minutes and we'll see which one is the best. So now let's get into the first method. Alrighty, so for the first two methods, we're gonna need a set of gear. It's fairly simple, but for the armor, we need a set of Wise Dragon armor. This armor set will run you back 6.5 million coins, but it's going to be worth it. We are also going to need a weapon, which is going to be the Frozen Scythe. So I'll buy this one for 4.7 million coins, and then toss on Ultimate Wise 5 for a cheap 2.4 million coins. So in total, this setup cost me 13.5 million coins, which is pretty cheap judging how good these money making methods are. So in order to do the first money making method, we're going to go to the Dwarven Mines here, and then we'll climb up this ladder all the way up here, cross through these bars right here, back here, and then come down these stairs into this area right here. And we're going to be killing these mobs right here called treasure hoarders with our Frozen Scythe, just like that. They spawn around this bridge in this area and also down here sometimes, and also in this cave right here. That's pretty much how the money making method works, but now I'm going to test it for 15 minutes and we'll see how much we get. Alrighty, and that is time. So this is everything that's in my inventory from the 15-minute grind here, which is just a bunch of kaleidoscopic material and runes, which are both pretty much useless. The main stuff is in my sacks here, which is going to be Starfall and Treasurite, and it looks like we made 2.66 million coins in approximately 15 minutes. These will pretty much never sell on a sell offer, so I'll just go ahead and insta-sell those just to get them out of my inventory. And if we sell offer this, actually, we'll end up with 2.45 mil in Starfall, 445k in Treasurite. So if we add those up, we are actually looking at about 2.9 million coins in that 15-minute span. And this means we are making approximately 11.6 million coins in an hour, which is honestly pretty decent for early game. I'll rate this money making method a solid 7 out of 10 because it's cheap to get into and makes decent coins, but let's move on to the next one. For the next money making method, we are still going to be in the Dwarven Mines with the exact same setup here, but instead this time we're going to be killing Glaciite Walkers. We are going to make money from the Glaciite Walkers by dropping Glaciite jewels from them, each of which goes for 100k, which is some pretty good cash there. So let's hop into another 15-minute test and see how much we make. And the way this money making method works is really simple. You just come down to the Devon's Gateway right here and then walk across this bridge, come onto this Glaciite Walker area, and then you literally just kill these things. They have like no health, and I already dropped one jewel just like that. They spawn in like sets just like that in this area right here, and then they also spawn up here and then in this little area right here. So let's hop into another 15-minute test and see how much we make. So once I open my inventory, you guys can see everything that I dropped in these 15 minutes, and it looks like this is what we have. Half a stack of Glaciite jewels, which is pretty nice, will go for just above 3 million coins. Bunch of this armor, and if I also go here, I have some more armor that I dropped, including this random auto recon piece, which is technically worthless, but it's just cool to see, I guess. By using sky tills, we can see all of this is worth about 400,000 coins, which is pretty decent, but selling all of this would be a big hassle, so I just won't really count it towards the money. However, 32 Glaciite jewels goes for 3.15 million coins. That means we are making just over 12.5 million coins an hour, which is not too bad for an early game player. I'll rate this money making method an 8 out of 10 because it's really cheap to get into and does make a decent amount of coins. Right then, that's pretty much everything for this setup as far as the money making methods go, so we can kind of just, you know, say goodbye to that. RIP 13 mil, oh well. So the next money making method is actually going to be two of them that you can just do AFK, since these will be really good for making you passive income. So the first thing you're going to want to be doing is forging stuff. Specifically, you're going to want to be forging mithril plates as the timing and the margins are pretty good on this one. As for the materials, the titanium cost me 555k, the mithril is 2.8 mil, the golden plate looks to be 1.9 mil, and lastly, the iron block is like nothing. I'm just going to insta-buy that. And if you do the math out, that means it costs 5.36 million coins to get the materials for one mithril plate. And then once you have the materials, you can can just go ahead and simply forge it. It takes 18 hours to do, which means you can just leave it for the night and then come back the next day. Mithril plates are currently going for around 6.53 million coins per, and this means you are making 1.17 million coins per slot while literally having to do nothing. I have 7 slots, as you can see right here, and this means that if I did this every single day, I would be making 8.2 million coins just for logging on and doing like 3 minutes of work, which is actually insane. I rate this money making method 10 out of 10, an absolute banger. You don't have to do anything and you just make so many coins from it. Another money making method that you can do AFK is just minions. Personally, I think one of the best minions that you can use early game is slime minions, since everything else like Inferno is just hella expensive. What you should be running is a enchanted lava bucket, an enchanted hopper, a super compactor, and corrupt soil. However, I just collected these minions like 5 minutes ago, so let's check back tomorrow and we'll see how much profit we made. Alright, so I may or may not have accidentally completely forgotten to hit the record button whilst collecting these minions right here, but as you can see, there's no enchanted stuff and they literally just have like 0 coins in them. So in my inventory here is all of the sulfur that we got from one day of slime minions. I think there was like 27 sulfur in every single minion, and then we also got this much slime from the minions. It looks like the sulfur is going for 1.22 mil, and all of this slime right here is going for 2.07 million coins. So this means in total across 28 minions we are making 3.5 million coins per day, which is not great, but it's not too shabby judging that you don't have to do anything for these coins. I'll rate this an 8.5 out of 10 because it doesn't make that many coins, but it is extremely low effort. But now on to the next one. For the next money making method, we're gonna go to the farming islands and then also move our way over to the desert islands here, and we are going to need one item for this, and it's going to be Moby shears. And for this money making method, you're going to want to come down this path right here into this tunnel area right here. Come forward a little bit, walk out here, and then jump across this gap to this area over here. And then as you can see, all of these green spots that you're seeing are glowing mushrooms, and then you can basically use the shears to pick them up and you'll make money that way. So same thing as the other test, we're going to set a 15-minute timer and we're going to do it the same way as the other money making methods. Alright, and that is the 15-minute timer up there. This is how many mushrooms we got in that time. So if we go straight to Bazaar and try to sell them, we make basically 1.5 million coins, which is 6 mil an hour, not that great. However, to get some more profit in, what we can do is we can go to Moby here in the same area, and we can buy these empty chum buckets, then we can fill them up with chum and sell them back to the Bazaar. So let me just buy all of these real quick.
A few moments later.
And here is all 202 empty chum buckets that we got from doing this. Keep in mind that each chum bucket costs 2,000 coins in addition to the 8 mushrooms, so we need to factor that in when talking about the profits of this thing. If you try to sell it back to the Bazaar right now, after everything you're gonna end up losing coins or breaking even just because of the fact that you have to spend the 2k. So what you're going to do instead is you're just going to fill these buckets with chum. So I'm just gonna buy a random inventory for now, and then you can just go to the crafting menu and craft these up. And then once you've put that all together, you should have all of your full chum buckets, and then you can go back to the Bazaar and sell these back. And now we are up to 2.28 million coins in that 15 minutes. So if we take that number, subtract the 2k from all the buckets and the cost for chum, we end up with 1.87 million coins in those 15 minutes. Which means this money making method makes 7.5 million coins an hour. Not bad, I guess, judging that this money making method takes like 0 setup. So I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 because you literally just need a pair of shears to get started with this, but it doesn't make that many coins. And now for our last money making method. Some people might not consider early game, some people might, so I just threw it in here, but it is going to be frag running. It is quite an old money making method, but it still does make some good coins, so let me show you how to do it. For an early game setup, you're going to want to look for a Juju short bow, and you're going to want it to be legendary, and you're going to want Soul Eater 5 and Overload 5. This is going to be the cheapest way for you to one-tap the mobs in F7, which is what you need to do. So I'll grab this one right here. It looks pretty good for around 49 million coins. Now, as far as the rest of the setup goes, it really doesn't matter. You should just have a little bit of magical power and some basic neck run to go along with this Juju. So now let's run it for 15 minutes and we'll see what we get. and that is the timer up there. I am just gonna go ahead and finish out this frag run right here, but that is our timer up for the 15 minutes. So once we kill this giant right here, we'll stop and we'll count up the profits. And there we go, that's that one dead, and we dropped another Diamante's handle off of that. So if you saw from that sneak peek right there, we did end up dropping 5 Diamante's handles. I was actually insanely lucky on the RNG here. I dropped 5 Diamante's handles from 5 giants when it's a 50% drop rate, so that's just super lucky there. However, you do drop things that are different from the Diamante's handles from this as well, and I have those in my sacks right here. So starting off, we have a laser eye. We also just have a bunch of frags right here that are worth like a mil total, so those actually give you a fair amount of coins too. So we have 2.43 mil here, and then if I sell off for the Diamante's handles, that's 6 mil there. That means we made 8.43 million coins in just that 15-minute span, which means we are making 33.7 million coins an hour. I'll give you that I was a little bit RNG carried with the Diamante's handles, but that's still insane for a money-making method that's this low level. And I'll rate this money-making method a solid 9 out of 10 because it does make a really good amount of coins, but it can be difficult for some players to get into. But that's pretty much it for this one. If you guys did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe, as I'm in a race with Flame Game God to 10,000 subscribers. And also join the Discord to be notified when I post, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.